We are now at 5 minutes left, which means we can pick up on the other side with education, maybe, but it's now time for a Bury the Lead segment. I think that I'm going
Okay.
first this week,
Yeah,
and
you gotta go first.
basically, we're going to be delivering our hottest takes in our last 5 minutes of our first Zoom call. So, this week, my Bury the Lead topic is gay marriage and how I'm convinced that it's probably not going to last the whole Trump administration. I'm just trying to give people a warning up front because, we saw with Roe v. Wade, it got overturned, even though Biden was president at the time. But, we have a conservative Supreme Court right now. Just seems like the direction that things are moving in. I think that the case that gay marriage was decided on with Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015 was decided based on the 14th Amendment and this idea of like equal equal rights under the law of the 14th Amendment. And this decision made it so that a marriage in one state has to be recognized as a marriage in another state. It was kind of done to level the playing field because different states had different policies. But opponents of that decision say that the Constitution, nowhere does it specify about gay marriage. Therefore, under the 10th Amendment, which says that the states have the ability to make laws on non-specified issues, that would include gay marriage. And so conservatives will interpret the law to say that the states should be the ones making law on gay marriage. So I'm just concerned we saw what happened with Roe v. Wade, and I think that people should kind of be expecting Obergefell versus Hodges to also be overturned. We're seeing, like, again, just based off of the way that it was decided, it was a very narrow margin when the Supreme Court decided it. It was like 5-4. And we've added more conservative justices since then. Also, I wanted to bring up the cultural shift happening in Hungary right now because they're sort of a front or forerunner to what is happening in the US. They have a strongman populist leader, Viktor Orban. They just banned Pride events in Hungary. So yeah, if that's any like cultural weather vane of what could happen in the US, people should expect it might not last. Gay marriage might not last through Trump's term.
Oh God. Okay. Now it's my turn. We can comment on our things after this, but I'm going to talk about today how abortion, I think, is the number one issue that we should be focusing on. I know it's a very hot topic issue, and that honestly, a lot of centrists and obviously left-leaning people agree with it. And I know that it's brought up a lot, but I really, really do think for how much it's brought up, I don't even think it's brought up enough. It kind of ties into Colin's topic a little bit as well, because I think that the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the government's step in on abortion has a lot to do with privacy. And I think that is the reason why it is such a big deal. Like taking out the aspect about women and how these things are probably happening illegally and how the this is an overstep on body regulation and stuff like that. Like it is also a look into what they can do to privacy, and Colin kind of touched on it a little bit, but like Clarence Thomas wanting to revisit cases like Griswold versus Connecticut, which has to do with contraception, and then Obergefell versus Hodge, which is same-sex marriage, which you just talked about. And I think that it just needs to be looked at from this broader perspective of privacy, and that's kind of the only way we're going to get something back when it comes to abortion rights, right? Like, I think that unfortunately people hate women too much to like only look at it from a women's perspective, but it affects everyone. Like it affects everyone's broader threats to these privacy rights. And obviously Roe v. Wade was not the right thing to go about, but I'm trying to figure out something that I agree with in a framework that isn't Roe v. Wade that can't be overturned as easily. And I will probably get back to you guys on that, but I do think I need to emphasize the importance of how getting rid of Roe v. Wade and these abortion rights was only just a wedge into the door of getting of the federal government or the judicial government, the government being able to revisit cases to do with privacy.
Yeah. And like equal rights, when equal rights comes up against states' rights, that's kind of what we both are talking about with our topics there, I
Yeah, I
think.
think it tied in really well together then.